Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today's December 11th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see Hawaiian Islands here. There's the state of California. This frontal system will impact mainly the Pacific Northwest, but we've got cold air across the western Pacific and off to the west of Alaska. It's going to move down and set up shop here off the coast of California, potentially bringing us some interesting weather, and we're going to dive into those details as we go through the video here this morning. Taking a look across the western Pacific, again, the infrared satellite imagery, you can see the colder area here is going to merge with some more off western Alaska and move down towards the coast of California. If you look to the far right, there's the Hawaiian Islands, there's Japan there, and there's China. Now, looking at this day in SoCal weather history, check it out. 1997, strong Santa Ana wind event there. It brought up some dust and sand, snapped power poles, and 10,000s of customers into darkness. 2 construction workers killed, a lot of damage out there, a lot of avocados ruined, and even the biggest Christmas tree out there, Fashion Island's 112-foot Christmas tree, lost 30 feet off the top of that with a big gust. But yeah, interesting stuff way back in December 11th, 1997. Some of you guys might remember that one. Looking at the max wind gusts here through 4 a.m. Wednesday, we're going to have some blustery north winds coming down some of the valley areas and some offshore component as we go towards this weekend, and I'll show you why that is here starting now. This is out towards Friday night, and you can see the high pressure across a lot of the Great Basin here. If we scroll back and forth, you can kind of see that high pressure is going to be existing as we go through this week, keeping the offshore winds. They won't be exceptionally strong, but they will exist towards the weekend until this low pressure center starts to develop off the coast of California. Then it might start switching things up. That's what we're going to be looking at here as we go through the video. First, let's look at wind speeds here, 925 millibars. You can see the offshore winds we've been having here over the last few days. And it's going to keep things pretty warm across a lot of California also, except for the overnight hours. Any wind-sheltered valley is going to get pretty chilly. But you can see the gusty north winds coming down the valley here. And we turn things back offshore. You can see the strong north winds coming and some more northeast winds coming across Southern California as we continue to scroll through this week all the way up to Friday. You see that offshore wind continue. Starts to turn a bit southerly here across Central and Northern California as that low pressure center starts to set up shop there also. And where this one goes and how close it's going to get to California is the question everybody's going to be asking here over the next few days. And if you want a nice, affordable home weather station, click on that link down below to save 10% off. This station does very well against much more expensive equipment, stores all the data for you in the cloud. Highly recommended. Now, the fun stuff. Taking a look at the GFS, the ensemble mean. This is California. Here's Hawaii. We're looking at 18,000 feet. So let's put this into motion. If you've been watching the channel the last couple of days, we've been talking about this trough setting up shop here, and the models are still in full agreement in this storm's development off the coastline here. What kind of proximity will it have to California, and what kind of subtropical moisture will it be bringing up over the state are the questions. And you can see it might get reinforced here as we go on into next week as well, kind of hanging out right off the coastline there as we go on into the 10-day time frame here. This would be about Thursday, December 21st here. So you can see this thing's going to be hanging out here off the coastline for a while. So fun stuff to watch over the next few days, trying to figure this system out. It becomes cut off at times, but the westerlies are going to be close, and so it's going to keep it a little bit progressive, and it's also going to get reinforced here. So I have some confidence that this will bring some impacts to portions of California. This is what we call a spaghetti chart, again at 18,000 feet, and you'll see why we call it a spaghetti chart here as we go through, and I scroll out into the future here. You can see this is the very cold air back up across here to the northwest. And as we go ahead and scroll out into the future a little bit here, we're now looking at Saturday about 6 a.m. You can clearly see the storm's development here. Really good ensemble agreement. So each one of those lines is an ensemble forecast, and it's got pretty good agreement here that we're going to set up this low pressure off the coastline here, and it's going to hang around for a bit and possibly even get reinforced as we continue to move out towards the next week time period here. But you can see the general troughing showing up in the ensembles, and the gray underneath that is the control run, the deterministic, the initial conditions best we understand them. So pretty good model agreement as we go on through the next week or so in the storm's development itself. Now, taking a look at 700 millibar temperatures, about 10,000 feet. There's the state of California. Here's Hawaii here. So watch what happens here when we put this into motion. You see that cold air here? Here it comes. It starts to arrive after that frontal system goes through the Pacific Northwest, and this gets cut off here. And how much subtropical moisture will that bring? How much of the westerlies will grab that cold air and bring it back towards the state of California? Will this reinforcing shot arrive? These are all the questions we're going to be trying to ask here over the next few days, because this could bring some precipitation all the way down through Southern California if things line up correctly. Now, taking a look again, this is the same map here at Hawaii. There's California here, but now we're looking at 39,000 feet up in the atmosphere. Let's put this into motion and you'll see that trough coming. You'll see it clearly set up shop here as we go on in towards the weekend off the coastline. Perhaps that subtropical jet stream bringing some of that moisture back up into California gets reinforced as well and continues to hang out here. Look at that subtropical jet stream roaring through next week as well. That could be a player in this next system, also bringing some decent precipitation amounts back up into the west coast here. Now, looking at a wider view of things here, we're looking at, again, 10,000 feet. There's the Hawaiian Islands. There's California. So if we put this into motion, watch this energy back here and some of this energy across western Alaska. You can see it right there. It starts to merge and it starts to drop down off the coast of California there. And you can see it gets cut off for a bit, but gets caught up in the westerly. So that would help push it towards the coastline of California then again. And then another reinforcing shot, which looks set up maybe a little bit closer there also. So that's what we're trying to figure out here over the next few days as forecasters. Taking a look at what that would mean precipitation-wise, this is the European as of yesterday afternoon. There goes the frontal system into the Pacific Northwest. There goes our low-pressure system here, and you can see it's got some subtropical moisture with it. And it starts to bring some precip here as we go at the very late portion of the weekend for Northern California, maybe some of the Bay Area by Monday morning. And it continues to bring some rounds of precipitation. As you can see, things would get interesting at times with all this rainfall moving across the state of California, kind of hanging out there all the way through next week. And then maybe another system way off into Fantasyland. Who knows about that? We'll continue to watch it. This is total precipitation on the GFS. This is last night's run. So we're just going to scroll through this and see what the GFS says. How much precipitation would these low pressure systems bring? And as you can see, as we go into the early portion of next week, it starts to bring some of that precipitation into central and northern California, maybe clipping the Bay Area, and then we get some more dynamic potential as we go on into the extended forecast. But as you can see, this is still a little ways out here, and these cutoff lows, even though it does have some westerly support above it, can be a forecaster's nightmare. And this is going to be changing here as we go through the next few days. We'll continue to watch to see if this trends up or down in the forecast. Here's the European, same map as I just showed you with the GFS. GFS is the USA model. The European, of course, is the European model here. That's the main differences. But if we go off into the extended here, you can clearly see the European showing a pretty rainy solution here at time for some of the Bay Area, Northern California. And then again, as we go through the extended, some big precipitation potential here across Southern California. But this is looking way far out. You got to take it with a grain of salt right now. We'll be watching this over the next few days to see if this trends up or down. Now, taking a look across the Pacific Ocean here, this is the European as of last night. You can see Hawaii here. There's Japan to the far left. There's Alaska, and there's California. So we're going to be watching for our weather system here, and you can see it setting up shop. High confidence in that. Maybe that subtropical jet stream helping to bring some of that precip as we go through the extended forecast into California. And that jet extension starts across the Pacific Ocean here as well. It continues to show in the models. So hopefully that has some kind of impact here for precipitation in California as we go on in towards the end of December. Looking at the European, the control run. This one goes out further, and this is up towards 39,000 feet again. Here goes our system there. Reinforcing shot arrives, and look at that jet extension and powerful subtropical jet stream at times in the vicinity here. So there's definitely worse signals than this to be had for precipitation into California through the extended forecast. As you can see, that powerful jet stream ripping across Pacific Ocean would try to bring some storms into California, and this would be right on Christmas Eve here shown. This is 200 millibars on the GFS, the ensemble mean. So we're just going to scroll through this fairly quick. There goes our system, reinforcing shot, also showing on the GFS. And then look at that jet extension lapping up all the way to the coast of California as we go through very early December 26th. That would be Christmas afternoon right here. So promising looking signal there, and we'll continue to watch that day by day. So now taking a look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, you can see much of the country above average here. And as we look at 6 to 10 day precip, starting to pick up on that here from much of the state of California, including a little bit of Nevada and Arizona here as well. And this would be December 16th through 20th. Now we're looking a little bit further out all the way to Christmas Eve here, and look at much of the country above average. Not looking good for a white Christmas for most portions of the USA. But looking at precipitation totals, look at that, all the way through Christmas Eve. Again, California in the bullseye here, so cross your fingers. This is what we're watching over the next few days. Also, kind of an experimental product here. Risk of heavy precipitation does exist for portions of California as we go through the 22nd, and there's some snowfall potential with this as well for some of the higher terrain here. And this is risk of high winds. It does include some of the coastal areas of California. So anyway, yeah, fun stuff to watch here over the next few days. Getting a little bit excited about that system out there. But as you know, these things can really play havoc with the forecast. So we really have to watch it closely over the next few days. So we will continue to do just that. So anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.